Welcome to this special presentation of Investing in Psychedelics, brought to you by the Canadian Securities Exchange in partnership with CFN Media.
Hello, this is Frank Lane, president of CFN Media, and today we have the founder of Bright Minds Bio, Ian McDonald, and this CEO clip is part of our Investing in Psychedelics virtual conference brought to you by the CSE and CFN. And the first question for Ian today is, Ian, give us some background on yourself and your company, Bright Minds.
Yeah, sure. So I am an investment banker. I started off my career working in venture capital and merchant banking. From there, I went on to a career in investment banking, where I really was pairing capital with ideas and management teams. In 2017, I along with my team, sold our gold company to a larger gold company for about $160 million. Since then, Bright Minds has been my focus. It's been a few years of putting together. I'd say the thoughts of forming the company started around 2015, and by 2017, with the sale of the gold company, I finally got the opportunity to pursue it in earnest. So what Bright Minds Biosciences is a biotechnology company focused on creating the next generation of psychedelic drugs to treat mental health disorders. And our team has what I would consider to be the premier group of scientists within the industry.
So Ian, tell us, where does Bright Minds fit into the overall psychedelics market?
Bright Minds Biosciences is all about creating better psychedelics. So giving doctors and clinicians better treatment options, better tools in their toolbox. The psychedelics we have today are a major improvement on where we were before in SSRIs and other medications, but they're by no means perfect. So think of them as the first generation of the iPhone. What we are creating essentially is the iPhone 10, an improved version of those known psychedelics like psilocybin, DMT, and LSD.
That's fantastic. And in that, Ian, what makes Bright Minds and your solutions unique to others that are coming on the market?
Sure. So what we are really good at is inventing and creating superior products. The major difference between our product, the one that we're creating, and others is that we're solving two main problems. Our drugs will be safer, and two, our drugs will work for a shorter period of time. The duration of action will be considerably shorter than LSD, considerably shorter than psilocybin and many of the other psychedelics. By taking that trip time down from, say, 4 to 6 hours with psilocybin to a much more manageable time frame of, call it, around an hour, that will allow clinics to be far more efficient. Instead of a doctor seeing one, maybe two patients a day, they can see 8 or 9. That really will change the economics of the entire business. So that, paired with safety and some other kinks that we're working out of the first generation molecules, really sets our team apart. And in order to execute, you need the smartest guys. You need a team that's done it before, a team that has a history of working with psychedelic molecules and success in building a biotech. We certainly have that with our team. We have experience from the Mayo Clinic, Yale, Berkeley, Harvard, the largest privately owned pharmaceutical company in the world. So within our team, we have literally hundreds of patents and probably about 1,000 publications under our belt.
That's amazing. And so not only a better psychedelic drug, but a much better application that will benefit the patient interaction side, which is a big part of the market too.
Oh, certainly, yeah. Yeah, so the drugs will be, in our opinion, the the standard of care within psychedelics. They will replace first generation molecules, classic psychedelics like psilocybin, LSD, in the clinic.
That is very clear. Now, tell us about your capital market strategy of either raising capital or preparing to go public in what's ahead of for you.
Sure. I guess this is a fitting question with my investment banking background. The company has been privately funded to this point. It's myself and a couple other parties close to me that have been funding this. Going forward, we are just opening up to our first round of outside capital at the moment. We've seen a ton of interest all the way from pharmaceutical companies, venture investors, family offices, down to net worths. So we're really seeing a ton of interest on the capital raising standpoint. Our plans going forward after this round, we will likely evaluate where the public markets are and where the private markets are and make a determination of our path forward. Obviously, we would need to have a cost of capital advantage if we were to go the public markets route that would outweigh the costs of being a publicly traded company. And what's really important is that as inventors and people that are creating new drugs, and intellectual property being the product that we have, we needed to progress the science to a point where we have built up valuable intellectual property before we came forward and were public about it. That's why we were in stealth mode since 2017 up until a few weeks ago.
That makes sense. So is the business model really licensing the intellectual property to the drug developers globally?
Well, there's a number of different ways you can skin the cat. What we want to do is create better medicines and create better therapeutics that will get to market. But the monetization strategy, we have a lot of different options. As I mentioned, pharmaceutical companies are interested at this early stage today. That will only gain as we move into the future. So typically what you do in biotech is de-risk the molecule, which we're doing right now by going through preclinical work and then later clinical studies. And at any of those points, there's potential to do a deal with a larger pharmaceutical company to de-risk, take capital off the table. Those deals generally look like cash up front with a carry on the rest of the program. So that's one potential opportunity, and another path would be just taking it on all ourselves and going all the way through clinical trials and getting this drug approved as Bright Minds.
Right. So there's opportunity to be agile in the way that you build out your business model and revenue going forward.
Absolutely, yes.
Fantastic. And then finally, Ian, with the capital rate. Oh, go ahead.
Right. I would just say that our team are, in my opinion, the best inventors in psychedelics. I think we have a track record of proving that. We will be creating more and more drugs and to have more and more programs as time goes on. So don't look at us as a one-shot company. This is a robust research program that research and development program that we are creating at Bright Minds. So this will be a multi-shot approach.
You know, that's a wonderful response to what the last question really was, and that is, given the access to capital, how will you use that to seize the full market opportunity you see moving forward?
Yeah, one of the things that sets this apart from cannabis, and I know cannabis has nothing to do with it, but it gets stuck in the same conversation with a lot of people. Being a biotech company we are not withholden to any of the major barriers that encountered cannabis in the capital markets. Cannabis was difficult for a lot of institutional investors to be able to invest in. That is not the case with Bright Minds. With Bright Minds, any U.S. institutions, any major investment firms will be able to allocate capital towards Bright Minds. There are no restrictions with that, and what that does is really offer up a much larger investor pool, especially at the later stages of drug development, which can be quite capital intensive. So we have a much larger universe, and in our opinion, the drugs that we are creating are going to be the next 50 years in psychiatric medicine.
That is a wonderful point to end with, and we're seeing that now with other companies where bigger named investors that hadn't invested in cannabis, like a Kevin O'Leary, has done so in a psychedelics company. So that's really the promise. Well, Ian, thank you so much for your time today. You clearly outlined the company, what makes it different, and what is in the future through the capital markets and then delivering value to the industry. Thank you so much for your time.